So I watched a video recently by a channel named Uncle Judy, made by this guy who calls himself Uncle Judy. Watched a few of his videos before, and he said something recently in a video that I would like to weigh in on a little bit that I think has some truth to it. So why don't we get into it? What up? It's your boy, Almighty Conman the Third, anime guitarist, rock star extraordinaire, all that fun stuff, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this video is going to be rather off the cuff, so kind of, bear with me here. I'm kind of recording this and editing it all in one, single evening. So, yeah, let's get into it, huh? And don't forget, if you like my content, you can like, comment, and subscribe for more like this. And so, without further ado, let's watch a little video clip of Uncle Judy's video. It's about a minute long, and then I'm going to weigh in after that.
When trying to start a band right now, is that musicians are getting worse. Musicians are getting far worse. Talk to anyone. This sounds like kind of like a boomer rant right now, but they are. Good musicians are so much harder to find than they used to be. Now, there's a reason for this. Let me explain. When I was 15, I'd get home from school, I'd eat some cheese, and then I'd play guitar. I'd sit down and I'd practice guitar. What do you 15-year-olds out there right now, high schoolers, what do you guys do when you get home from school? Fortnite. You adults think that's really funny, huh? The brain-rotted 15-year-olds. What do you guys do when you get home from work? The fucking Hunter Biden did what? Hunter Biden smoked crack? No one is playing their instruments anymore, let alone practicing. Let alone being, monomaniacally obsessed with it. Anyway, we used to watch Glenn Fricker to learn how to play in a band. What do you guys watch now?
I used to watch Jared Dines.
Jared Dines. You might even find a good TikTok with really good information about how to play in a band. But then you scrolled through 20 other TikToks and completely forgot all the information you learned from that one really good TikTok.
So the first thing I'd like to talk about with that point is the fact that he was basically saying that nobody practices anymore. I'm looking at you. Go practice your instrument right now. So to touch on that point, yeah, a lot of musicians kind of suck nowadays because they don't practice. Practice is key. Look at me. Look at me. Pan in here. Practice is key. Anyone you see on the internet playing their guitar or bass or whatever, whatever, doesn't matter. They show extreme skill level and yada yada, but that's because they fucking practice. Who would have thought that maybe if you practice your instrument, you'll get good at it? But here's the problem I see a lot nowadays is a lot of people, they practice with their band, but they don't practice by themselves. And that personally has affected me and my music and my band and whatnot. And it just gets a little annoying, okay? If you're in a band, you should practice the material you guys are working on by yourself, and then when you come to band practice, guess what? You'll be better in the group if you know your part. Even Glenn Fricker mentions this in several videos. I could probably put a whole compilation of them in this video to show you. Practice, practice, practice. Also, what really helps is the quality of practice. Are you practicing a specific part that you're lacking on? Are you making sure you understand the sequence of the song? Are we doing two verses and a chorus? Are we doing just, chorus to start off the song, and then there's a solo, and then you got to know the parts of the song, know the structure. That helps. And then when you come to band practice, you can all play everything together correctly. Another thing is, are you practicing to a metronome? Because metronome practice is just as important. Now, you don't have to practice with a metronome all the time, but every once in a while you should be pulling that thing out.
Nice.
And using it to help you keep in a rhythm with the rest of your bandmates. Another problem with the practice culture that we have is a lot of people have short attention spans because of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know it's kind of boomer to say it, but like, put down your cell phone and practice and pay attention to what you're doing and actually dedicate significant amounts of time to it.
How about no?
Because those short-term fuck-ups will help you get towards your long-term goals. Ta-da! I didn't become good as I am at guitar by just going, oh, well, I'm going to practice for 5 minutes. No, I dedicated hours to it, to learning more skills. So long story short for this section, practice. Because practice does not necessarily make perfect, but it makes you better. Another issue I have with some of the quality of musicians nowadays is that there's a lot of dicey stage practices and recording tactics that take place that just don't help you in the long run. Okay, so these two things have been debated ad length for ages now, ever since their advent. And I'm going to say their names, and y'all are going to be like, oh, come on, he's going to talk about this?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You've probably heard about it a lot, and you've probably seen plenty of clips bashing it. Click tracks and auto-tune are fucking with you in terms of your skill level. You want to become good? Don't rely on little gadgets and gizmos to do the heavy lifting for you. Sure, okay. Click tracks and auto-tune, they're nice little things that we have just to kind of, help prop us up a little bit, but we shouldn't be solely relying on them. There are some bands and some genres that, maybe you will probably need a click track for live performances. I don't doubt that. But overall, using them as a crutch, kind of stifling you. No, but what about earlier when you said to practice to a metronome? Yeah, that's different because you're not relying on it 100%. The same thing with practicing, if you're practicing to a metronome all the time, you're going to sound like a fucking metronome. Then don't use it all the time. You should be able to keep a rhythm by yourself too. But those things, if you rely on them too much, can become a bit of a crutch and can stifle your skill level. Just think about how before the advent of these technologies, musicians didn't have them, so they had to sound good. And granted, I'll give you that recording equipment nowadays is way more advanced, way more high-tech. It can pick up a lot of things that we couldn't before, so cleaning up some of that is just kind of, what we do. But at the same time, you should strive for more than just being like, oh, I'm just going to slap some auto-tune on it and it'll be fine. Really? The last point that I would like to make in terms of all of this musicianship is there's a lot of lack of dedication from a lot of people. There's a small subset of people who want to take this seriously and take it into a career space rather than just, I'm playing in a garage band. Because for Christ's sake, I didn't spend thousands of dollars to get this record made just as a hobby, Sure, some people like to do that, but there's a lot of dedicated musicians that spend their hard-earned money that they have to work for in order to pursue this as a career. So if that is outlined in the band that you are in, if everyone is saying, we are serious about this, we're not spending a ton of money just for shits and giggles, and you're over there fucking around, get out of the way. Another issue I've seen is a lot of people have problem touring, and this can be like a personal case-by-case thing. There was one time recently where I'd asked someone if they'd be open to touring, and they said no because it'd be really tough because they have kids and da-da-da-da-da. That's okay. I'm not faulting anyone for having a life and, not wanting to dedicate things like that, and make those sacrifices. But we're all making sacrifices here. A lot of people back in the day, in some of the most famous bands we know now, they had to sacrifice a lot too. And I'm not saying you should feel obligated to do that. If you want to take time off for family, or you just don't want to tour because you don't want to be away from family, or you have other obligations, sure, that's fine. But I feel like a lot of people come up with more bullshit reasons to, not do those things or not make the sacrifice. Because there's a lot of risk involved in being a professional musician. People are staking a lot on it, Just because you have a 9-to-5 doesn't necessarily mean you're secure at that point and you can go be a musician. When you're spending the kind of money on making a record that you do these days, that's a lot you could be saving to stay stable. So there's a sacrifice right there. I don't know, man. It just seems like a load of malarkey to me in a lot of cases. But I can always understand if someone doesn't want to because they have ties like family. They got kids. They got, their elderly parents they have to take care of. That's fine. It puts me in a tough spot because now I seem like a dick, trying to go, well, f*** your family. But no, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. So please don't take that the wrong way and don't go crazy on me in the comment section, okay? Calm down, Cujo. Calm down. All in all, I think Uncle Judy is right. We have a serious problem with a lot of musicians that aren't taking things seriously, that aren't practicing like they should, that are just god-awful people. No, but seriously, practice your goddamn instrument and stop fucking wasting everyone's time if you're going to come to band practice 5 hours late. Know the material.
What do you have to say?
Ask me these kids, they're more worried about Andrew Tate and not getting pussy when they could be making riffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be a virgin forever. Just play music. Please.
Silence, a black woman is talking.